You may think you see in front of you a man, and that's only partly right, because that's the exterior. There's a boy in me. There's a boy in me who sometimes controls things to a much greater extent than I, the adult, would like. So, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most distinguished guests, today I'm going to talk about how this came to be. Just a little bit. I hope it's not TMI. I will try to stay quiescent about the areas that may be a little uncomfortable. But there will be a little bit of discomfort, especially for me. Because what you see in front of you is a fake. This isn't really all of what I am. What you see is not what you get. It all started when I was a boy. I had the most wonderful, loving parents when I was very, very small. They were completely accepting of this small, strange, young individual. And I was pretty strange, based upon the stories that I've heard my parents tell. Now, I never asked a question such as you've just heard, but I filled my parents with all kinds of similar conundrums until I reached a certain age. You see, before this age, what I experienced was unconditional acceptance, unconditional love from both of my parents, until the day arrived when I was sat down and I was told, enough of these childish things. You're a big boy now. We're not going to do any of this stuff anymore. Now, as a parent, that's quite understandable. You want your children to mature and to grow. As a boy, that really sucked. Although I wouldn't have quite put it that way. And the boy who heard those words still needs that affection from his father. He still needs the love and the attention from both his parents, not just the nurturing mother. And so that boy is still inside of me now, and he's still in need of that. And so in times of stress, or times when I least expect it, that boy starts running the show, demanding that I be given attention, demanding that he be given affection, demanding that his way be known, in spite of what me, the adult, may have to do. I may have a report to do. I may have a class to prepare. I may have papers to grade. And that little boy is needing something. And when that happens, that little boy drives the show. And so I may miss a deadline. I may have to wing it in class. I may have to tell my students, sorry, I don't have your papers graded. All to satisfy that boy in me. Now, we moved around a fair amount when I was small. And so I learned that when I came into a new class of other students, they weren't nearly as accepting as my parents were. And that I was expected to act in certain ways that were totally perplexing to me. And I learned very early on that I was always a little bit on the outs. I was always doing something wrong. And that boy's still inside me. So when I see a group of people, like the first time I walked into a Toastmasters meeting, part of me is deathly afraid that that's going to happen again, that I'm going to feel that same rejection. And that boy became older and an adolescent. And I don't know what things are like now, many, many years later. But then if you ever go to a dance at a junior high school, you know what the drill is. All the girls line up on one side, all the boys line up on another side, and there is this chasm in between. And all the girls are kind of checking the guys out, kind of maybe dancing with each other, and the guys are there, oh, come on, no, you. The biggest fear of crossing that demilitarized zone, taking the chance with the enemy, getting rejected. And that boy is still inside of me. And so every time that I have to do something which I don't know the outcome of, he comes out and he fills me with fear of being rejected and humiliated yet again. And that boy grew even more into a gawky, gangly teenager who became so angry at all of this, at the rejection of the peers, at being chosen last in every single gym class, that he had a chip on his shoulder that was twice as big as those skinny shoulders. And that boy is still inside of me. And he makes it hard for me to connect with others. He makes it hard to be intimate. He makes it hard for me to be intimate with my wife by sharing my thoughts and my feelings. And so what you see today in front of you is a fake. What's really inside are these boys. And I'll bet that inside of each one of you is a boy or a girl who has something very similar. And I encourage you to find them. Give them the nourishment, the attention that they didn't get when they needed it, because they're still inside you, just as they're inside of me, and they still need it. And